EFT is a wonderful self-help technique. So I'm going to give you some guidance on what to do at home. The two things we're going to talk about is what EFT calls the personal peace procedure, and then I'm going to teach you the movie technique, how to take care of all these events. So quite briefly, a personal peace procedure is to make a list of every big event that you think was big or that you remember in your life. And you're saying, you've got to be kidding me. I have 300 events. Anything that you wish a person you wanted to skip, an event that you wish never happened, and then the biggies of I think that this caused, you know, such and such, this is why I don't feel good enough is because this happened to me, or I had a crazy father, or, you know, my parents were alcoholic, or whatever it is that you think. What we're going to do is we're going to work on first, and this is where I suggest that you do first in the personal peace procedure, is as far back as you can remember, up to the age of 5 or 6. If we take that first, because a lot of learnings occurred in that time. Sure, if you had, if your house burned down, if, you know, your son died, if your husband died, that's a huge event, and we're going to want to get to that as well. And if you're doing this in self-help, you're going to want to be able to do that yourself. However, let's start with all these little events before the age of 5. And also when you're first beginning, remember it's your responsibility to keep yourself safe. So if your husband dying is too big of a deal, don't do it. Wait until you're with an EFT practitioner to help you out with that, because your number one is keeping yourself safe. The other thing is you don't need to be afraid, because as long as you're tapping, even if you start feeling a great amount of emotion, you don't even have to say anything, and you just keep tapping on the points, and I promise you the emotion will regulate. But again, remember, it's your responsibility to keep yourself safe. So don't go where you shouldn't. Everybody, even practitioners, don't go where they should. So what you do is you make a timeline, and you put little ticks on it as to all these big things. And then every day, once a day, it takes about 20 minutes, is you work on an event. Now, it doesn't have to be every day. Of course, it doesn't have to be every day. But just think, if you did it 20 minutes a day, all these events in a year, all these events in 3 months that you could get through to make yourself a better person and to release all the negative learnings of the past. So if you can write all these things down and pick an event every day or even once a week, imagine how much freer you'll be. So how do you do this? What you do is, let's say the first time you remember, and it doesn't have to be huge. You know, sometimes it could be as simple as my mother looked at me funny, or my dad, you know, said what were all those ballet lessons for? And what we'll do is I'll go through an actual event for you, and I just happened to pick that one. Well, so what are all those ballet lessons for? Something my father actually said to me when I was 6. So I'll be able to show you the movie technique with that one specific event. So all you do is you go through and you work on that one event, and in the next video I'll show you how to actually do the movie technique to take care of that event. So what you're doing is you're just clearing all the negative feelings around that event, no matter how tiny it is or how big it is. And please, again, if it's something very large and it's something you're afraid to go to, there are techniques, gentle techniques, so that you don't have to relive them. Because there is a difference between talk therapy, cognitive behavioral therapy, things like that, and coping skills, and getting you to be okay with something, which is different than EFT, which is trying to clear the negative feelings when you first learned it, whenever that was. So there is a little bit of difference. We're trying to release instead of copes. EFT can give you coping skills also, but remember that what we're doing is we're trying to clear the negative feelings. So that's what we're going to be working on, is how to really get rid of every single one. So remember that EFT's personal peace procedure is a way that you can help yourself. Even if you're seeing an EFT practitioner, you can do these in between and then write down what you've done. So when you go to your EFT session, you can then work with the practitioner and say, well, I worked on this and this and this, and maybe take some notes like, I wasn't real good at this and I'm still feeling a little sad or mad or upset. And then your EFT practitioner can help you with that. And the next video will teach you the movie technique.